Thanks everyone for coming along. Welcome to the webinar from allaboutStamps.co.uk. This is part of our Collectors Conference on modern stamps, as you can see behind me. I'm delighted to welcome Posteurope Stamps and Philately Working Group Chair Agnieszka and Vice Chair Emile. They'll be telling us about Europa Stamps, about the project in general. As it's a huge popular collecting theme, I'm sure many of you are aware of what Europa Stamps are. They date back to the 1950s. They're stamps that feature the official Europa logo, and they're issued by countries around Europe with a different theme each year. And this theme is this year's theme is endangered national wildlife. So that's what we're going to be discussing today. Before I hand over to Agnieszka and Emile, I just want to explain the Q&A box at the bottom of your screen in Zoom. That's where you need to just type in your questions, and I'll be looking at those during the presentation. Once we finish the presentation, then we can discuss those questions with the panel. So we'll first of all have the presentation.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Agnieszka Trząskowska. I am chair of the Posteurope Stamps and Philately Working Group and a philately expert at the Polish Post. And may I introduce my colleague, Emile Espen, who is the vice chair of the working group and the director of Philately office at the Luxembourg Post. At first, I would like to thank for inviting us to today's collectors conference and having opportunity to share our work on stamps, on postage stamps, with collectors, with Europa Stamp enthusiasts. It's a great pleasure. PostEurop cooperates within the European and global level, of course, with Universal Union, with Postal Union. It covers 2 million employees, 800 million. We have 800 million customers. That means 6 billion items a year. Please, the next slide. One of the Posteurope organization consists of and cover of many numerous projects concerned with postal activity. And one of them is Stamp and Philately, which for it was created a special group. This is Posteurope Stamp and Philately Working Group that we represent. Please, the next slide. The working group cooperate with all representatives of Philately offices in Europe, and the core group, the main group, they are representatives of Poland, Luxembourg, Belgium, Greece, France, and Spain. Then since 2020, working group is open to all members. That paradoxically, the difficult situation, the pandemic situation, opened to the opportunity to take part actively more members than before. We meet 3 or 4 times a year. Please, the next slide. What we do, first of all, the main project of our group is Europa Stamps. So we initiate a new project. The project is the main project is a competition on the best, on the most beautiful Europa stamp. Every 2 years we get selection on the upcoming Europa Stamp issues. This year we will choose the following the new topics for 2023-2024. So in a few months we will announce the topics. Every 2 years we organize also Posteurope Philatelic forums. last year, it was planned last year, but because of the pandemic, it was postponed to this year, and we are going to organize it at the end of this year. Please, next slide. 2021 is a special year because we are celebrating 65 years of Europa Stamps, and it's a great symbol. It's a great symbol within for all philatelists, for all postal administrations, of integration and cooperation. It's a great tool for promotion of philately, and of course it's develop awareness of our roots culture and express richness of diversity and of nations and regions. 1956 is the year connected closely with the very beginning of the postage stamp, when European coal and steel community introduced this project. Next year, important year is 1960, when European Conference Postal Telecommunications Administrations continued the project under their known logo. And next, in 1983, PostEurop took over the project, and in 2019 was introduced the present Europa logo that is closely connected with the design, and is a very known symbol of the issue. About visuals, taking back to the past, from the beginning to 1973, Europa Stamps had canon designs done by selected artists, with an exception of 1957. But next year, in 1954, since this date, Europa Stamps had a common theme with different designs to this day, and the most popular topics are connected with European national heritage, culture, also nature, ecology, and science, history, and both, of course. May I ask Emile to continue?
So hi from Luxembourg. So I will talk about a little bit more about Posteurope stamps. So as Agnieszka already mentioned, sometimes we choose to have a common theme for all the members of the Europa group, and in 2016 we had the stamp theme Think Green, and in fact it's very interesting because it was a theme we have chosen before even the European Green Deal was voted. So that shows that in the group we are aware of things happening in our society, and we take them on into the themes we choose for the different Europa stamps. Well, of course, such a stamp also demonstrates the commitment of PostEurop as an organization to environmental issues. In that case, there was a competition in all of our European member states for the design, and we had 24 entries, and the winner was an artist from Cyprus, and it was Mrs. Dosia Serdigu. So I think it was quite an opportunity for her to have her design shown on all the Europa stamps published in 2016. But there's a constant growth in participants and stamps starting in 56, there were 6 countries only, the members of the steel union. Luxembourg was part of it. You see, it was Belgium, Germany, France, Italy, Luxembourg, and the Netherlands. These 6 countries issued 13 stamps. It was always allowed to issue more than 1 stamp. Luxembourg, for example, at that point issued 3 stamps for 3 different weight steps. In 2020, the situation is very different. We have about 60 countries or territories that are allowed to issue Europa stamps. It's 58 postal companies from 58 countries and territories, and they issued a total of 101 stamp. Nowadays, it's like the regulations foresees that you can issue up to 2 stamps in an emission. Then we have an online competition in which everyone can take part, and we had 55 electronic stamps participating in this online competition. And there you have to note that it's only 1 stamp per postal administration that can participate in the competition. And we had 47 printed stamps in the jury selection. That's another jury where the stamps are examined in physical presence. So one voting system is electronical, and the other one is based on the physical stamps. We can say that nowadays the Europa stamps belong to the most collected and popular stamps in the world. It's the Europa stamp is very important for a postal operator or for the stamp division of a post, because it's clear that this stamp will be sold a lot, much more than compared to other stamps. It's a worldwide. They are worldwide collected, and it's because of that, it's very important to keep them interesting. The promotion of these stamps goes also through competition. We started in 2002 to choose the best Europa stamp, and it was amongst the members, the posts participating in the General Assembly. They voted on the best Europa stamp, but that's really a closed group, and it was very quickly considered that this is not the real thing. So from 2007 on, it was widened up, and we proposed an online voting to all the public over the world, who could choose in an open online voting procedure to vote for the most beautiful Europa stamp. In 2011, because the stamps were only shown electronically to the voters, we decided to put in place an expert jury, and they selected. They would work on the printed stamps they had in physical in Brussels at a meeting. They could check how the printing was, if the techniques, how well they were done, and they chose another most beautiful Europa stamp. From 21 on, we will have new rules decided only in December 20 by the management board of PostEurop. So that's a very complicated slide, difficult to explain. But I just will resume it. So in future, meaning from this year on, there will be 3 voting panels. General public will continue to vote on electronic stamps from 9th of May to 9th of September. Then the members, the departments of the postal companies, members of PostEurop, will also take part in a vote. We consider that they are also real experts and that their voice should be heard. So every company, every postal company member of PostEurop will take part in the voting, and of course excluded is the own stamp. And then we have the expert jury, and which still continues to vote on physical stamps, because we know that the techniques, the printing techniques, the maybe new techniques, new the way it is done, the paper, all this also is important when you have a stamp. It's part of the let's say of the nature of a stamp, or not to be only an image, but also to be something physical. So these three groups will vote, and in the end, there will be we will add points together in a certain way, and we think that this kind of way will ensure that at the end we will really have the best or the most beautiful stamp issued, Europa stamp issued in a certain year in Europe. As for every competition, there will be an awards ceremony, and this award ceremony will take at a very glamorous PostEurop plenary every year. So I think that's also a very nice frame for handing over a prize to a post, and of course maybe also to an artist, creator of the stamp. So next page. So now I give back to Agnieszka, and she will continue with communication.
Looking forward to the results of today's competition, of this year's competition. We would like to share experience of Posteurope communication team, and every year they implement very interesting promotional program and campaigns concerning on Europa Stamps. They promote it by websites, but social media, press releases. Also, they prepare special stamp fact sheets and Europa Stamp, beautiful banners, videos, all other visuals. May I ask you, Matthew, to go through the next following slides, so we can see how it looks like, how much efforts it's take the PostEurop and attention. So it's a great job, and I would like to thank you, PostEurop, for its work. So it's Europa contest results. This is last year competition. It was the last ever, I think, online and expert competition. And the next slides, please. 2 slides. The online voting results for Turkey, Armenia, and Azerbaijan. And the last one slide, it's please the extra jury selection for Poland. I'm very proud. Faroe Islands, Swiss and Ukraine, and Germany. So thank you so much for being with us. And if you have any questions, please. All questions are welcome.
Thank you so much for that. That was excellent. We've got some questions in, and I have a few questions myself as well. So one of the things that I'd like to ask is, how are the themes each year? How are they decided upon? Is it just a panel within PostEurop?
Okay.
Thank you.
So every 2 years, we ask all the members of PostEurop to propose topics. Everyone can propose as many topics as he wants, and from this we build a list of possible topics. We take, of course, out if something is proposed 2 times, or so we try to fix, let's say, one single topic of similar topics proposed. And then we have a list, and this list can be up to 20 or 30 themes, which again is then submitted to all the membership of PostEurop, and everyone can vote on these topics, like giving 3 points to the most preferred theme, and 2 points to the next one, and 1 point to the third preferred theme. From the total of votes coming in, at the end we will have a winner, and we will have a second winner, winner. And so the first winner will be the stamp of the next period, and the second one will be the one of the next year after. So we have to do that because it's clear that you have to have some kind of planning in Philately, because it could happen that you would take on your program the same topic as you will have in for PostEurop, for Europa Stamp. So just to not to have these kind of overlapping, postal administrations have to be informed quite in advance about what we propose or what is the outcome of the general voting.
Okay, that's good. Thank you. Okay, we've had another question here from Chernok Pavel. I hope I'm saying your name right. It says, in your opinion, how could the European Parliament help to promote the Europa Stamp of the Year? Have you worked with the European Parliament on promoting stamps?
It's a tough question.
Yeah.
I think it's a good moment to start to talk with European Parliament to help us, to support us in promoting not only Europa Stamp but also Philately generally. This year is a special year when Europa Stamp's topics focus on endangered species. So it's great to the opportunity. Perhaps we could talk with some division. Some division is dedicated to ecology, and to ask for their help in this matter. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I just want to add something. We have a membership of about, as I said before, about 50 companies, 50 countries, in fact. And 27 of these are members of the European Union. So it's not working with European Union could exclude a number of posts. They could consider that they should not be taken into kind of political game or something like that. So it's a little bit tricky, but of course, as Agnieszka said, working with European institutions would be great, but we have to find a certain way how to do it.
Yes, of course. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, just going on from that, this is something I've wondered, and someone's Jürgen has asked, are you working with Royal Mail to have them issue Europa stamps? Is there a reason why Britain have been inconsistent with issuing the stamps? Not sure if that's another political question with what's going on in Europe and in the UK.
Yeah.
Sadly.
Well, sometimes they take part. It's not that that they would have been absent for many years now, but it's up to every member. It's not. PostEurop, of course, has no power to impose to any post to issue an Europa stamp. That's not possible. It's just let's say kind of agreement among us that it would be very nice that if everyone would do that, because that gives a lot of visibility to a certain topic, and of course it keeps the Europa stamps interesting for the collectors when we are as many as possible. But some have their own views on what is their authority on an issuing program, and maybe there are let's say ministries or other bodies involved that do not see have not the same approach a post would have. So but it's, as I said, it's up to everyone to decide to participate or not
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. Okay. So just going back to the question before, we've also had a question about choosing the topics. Do you think it would ever be possible to let Europa Stamps collectors choose the topic?
Yes, last year we started promote the Ask Collectors to inform us about the preferable topics. So this year we hope that we receive interesting topics for the following years. Yes.
Okay, so collectors will be somehow involved in that process.
That's right. Yes, that's right.
Okay, excellent. We'll look forward to hearing more about that. Someone else has asked, Denisa has asked, when is the next Posteurope stamp competition for artists and designers going to happen? So I guess this is similar to the Think Green stamps.
Yes, as it's let's say it's we have to have a special occasion, a reason to do it. It would certainly not be done because it's nice to do it. It's
Okay.
There must be a reason. There must be an anniversary. There must be then of course it makes sense because it's really complicated to organize, and it's very time consuming and resources consuming. It's of course it's a nice exercise. It's but I think Agnieszka, I think you have the same opinion. We have to have a good reason to do it. Just doing it for, let's say, for kind of because it's selling better is not a reason. We have to have a kind of good reason, like an anniversary, like something similar.
Yeah, it's there is a proposal for artists to contact directly with post administrations to present they propositions for they designs for every year, you know, because we at the moment the post administrations offer can offer the opportunity to express the interpretations of the Europa Stamps issues only. This, as Emile said, we have very rarely one for 10 years to organize such a competition, especially for artists, unfortunately.
Yeah. Okay. Henry has asked, how many of the stamps are used for postage and how many are just bought by collectors? That's just the Europa Stamps in general, I guess.
Well, I think that's very difficult to say. I can just tell you for Luxembourg, it's about 2/3 of these stamps are sold to collectors, and 1/3 goes into the retail network and will be used for franking letters. So in Luxembourg, that's. But we, of course, we are one of the smaller countries, and the stamp issuing policy of small companies is quite different from the policy of bigger countries. So I would not say that this 2/3, 1/3 splitting applies to big companies like French Post or German Post. But I can just tell it for Luxembourg.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, that's quite difficult to measure as well, isn't it? Where the stamps are going and what they're going to be used for.
Yeah, and we have never asked our members. Maybe that's a good idea. We could ask them. But we know of course, because we asked once what is the best-selling stamp, and it was the Europa stamp. And I think if I remember correctly, the ever best-selling Europa stamp was the 2000 Europa stamp, the Millennium stamp. Maybe you remember the tower made of stars, children building a tower. That's the ever best-selling Europa stamp with a common theme. That's what I can tell you. It's I have no insight in what other companies are selling.
Yeah, of course. Okay. And when all the countries are given the theme and they come back with their designs, do you see them before they go out? Is there any kind of approval from PostEurop, or
some companies ask us for approval and send us the final designs, because after changing the Europa logo, sometimes they were misunderstanding. So we clarify the situation. And of course, we receive the designs, the visuals, to put them on the PostEurop website. So we know before how they look like.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. And do all the countries print the same amount? Henry asks. Is there a particular print run for the stamps, or is it dependent on the post office?
There are many factors that determines the print run. Every country, as Emile before mentioned, small countries have another policies, and big countries another, and and of course it depends on how many collectors have a postal administration, or they are put for public for paying postage. It's very difficult to define the final situation.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. I think we're almost through the questions. Tolga just says perhaps one year the children can choose a topic or draw the Europa stamps from their own country. So that's an idea for you. And one final question I have for both of you is, do you collect Europa stamps yourself?
I'm not a stamp collector at all.
Okay.
So, I have, well, that's maybe a strange thing, that the head of the philately department of a company is not collecting stamps at all. I appreciate stamps a lot. I like the creation thing, the choosing of a topic, how it's transposed into a visual, all that around everything. I appreciate that very much, but I'm not a collector at all. It's not only limiting, it's not only concerning stamps, but I'm not a collector at all.
Okay.
But I have to say, I love all my collectors.
Yes,
so,
they
are very close to my heart.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. How about you, Agnieszka?
It's the same with me. I love cooperating with designers, and I think it's this the part when the part of our work is fascinating, and looking for materials, supporting them, all this discussion with all people involved in the projects are very great. And we sometimes discuss this within our colleagues within the working group, and it's a great. Every time we learn something from each other, and it's very, very interesting. So I think that we can say that we collect experiences.
Yes.
Yes, a collection for that is for us very, very important. That I think it's good for finally for collectors, that they see our work, our efforts, the fruit of our engagement in the work. I hope.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Okay, well, that's brilliant. Thank you so much for your time today. I know I always look forward to the different themes being announced and looking for the stamps as they come out throughout the year. Yeah, I'm a collector anyway. I'll collect them.
Oh.
one of us. So yeah, thank you so much for your time today. Thanks everyone for coming and for your questions. Just to say there's another webinar tomorrow evening with Martin Merck, the stamp engraver. That's at 6:30 London time. So do join us for that one. And Emile and Agnieszka, thanks so much for your time. Thank you.